welcome. Thank you for joining me. Well, we messed up Friday night, and thank goodness Christy and I have a sense of humor. We doubly messed up because not only could we not get into the webinar, we couldn't find who was registered for it. So that's why some of you showed up Friday night and you never heard from us. I apologize about that. And I want to thank you for your patience and hopefully your amusement. We did problem solve it and figure it out, but I can tell you at 7:10, we were both on the phone with each other, scratching our heads going, what is going on? We just could not figure it out. So we just had to go back into the software step by step to figure it out, which we did. So as you can see, we're here tonight. So thank you. Today is Female Monday. Woo! I know it doesn't have the same cachet as Female Fridays, but we're still going to have a great meditation. And before we start, I just wanted to take a moment so that everybody could enjoy and admire these flowers tonight. I want to tell you about these flowers. These lilies are amazing. I've been sitting here doing readings for the last couple of days, and the fragrance has just been like wafting by me all day long. So I got these lilies at Albertsons for $7.99. There's 2 bunches, and this was like the greatest deal. I got them the day before Mother's Day, which I think was sort of a little gift from Supreme Being, because when I went into Albertsons, everything was doubly priced. And I just kind of poked through things, and I found the last 2 bunches of these just amazingly big lilies. So this is, I wanted to share them with you. All right. Well, tonight we are doing a meditation to get out of guilt. And before we start, I just want to talk a little bit about guilt. Guilt is a wonderful control game. If I can put a picture of my opinion in your space and get you to believe it over your own beliefs about yourself, then I can control you and I can program you to do pretty much whatever I want you to do. And one of my favorite riddles is, how do you keep a healer healing? You invalidate them. So you keep telling that person that they're not doing a good enough job. They'll keep coming back and do it even better, and then go back and do it even better. So that's what the game of guilt, and it becomes a control game, is if you can put your opinion in somebody else's space and get them to believe it. It's called not having your seniority, or giving your seniority away to somebody else. So I was thinking a lot about this meditation because the whole game of guilt is so broad and expansive. There's so many different kinds of guilt. And so I broke it down into some steps that we can do. So I'm going to teach you just a simple way to learn how to release guilt and get out of guilt, and then correct that in your own space. And if we have time, I have 2 different ways that we're going to do that tonight. So we'll start by doing our regular grounding and our female grounding, and then we'll get into the game of guilt. All right? Okay, go ahead and close your eyes and be seated in a chair in an upright position. If you try to do this laying down in your bed, I can almost guarantee you'll be asleep by the end of the meditation. All right. And let's start with a brand new grounding cord. Whatever your grounding cord was today, it's probably a little tattered, and go ahead and drop it right into the center of the planet. Create a new one from the base of your spine. Drop it into the center of the planet, anchor it in. And as soon as you anchor it in, you're going to feel gravity working with you. And work with gravity. Just take a moment. You can take a big breath in and exhale. And on the exhale, release all the stress of the day and let that go south into your grounding cord and right into the center of the planet. And think back to what you did today, all your tasks, your activities, phone calls, emails, texts, whatever you were doing today. Go ahead and put the energy of that down your grounding cord and let it start to roll off of you from the top of your head all the way down to the bottom of your toes. Let all that energy from today go into your grounding cord and release. And say hello to the energy of not having to please anyone for the next 30 minutes. You don't have to please me. You don't have to please anyone else. This meditation is for you. So if you find yourself answering to someone in your aura right now, say hello to them and send them down your grounding cord. Let go of any energy where you might have been straining from stress. Let that release. And any energy in your body that's causing you to be in discomfort, go ahead and let that go down your grounding cord too. Good. Now we're going to start our female grounding. The female grounding cord goes underneath the uterus. You can think of it as a big tube, and that tube drops into your main grounding cord. So go ahead and create that tube under your uterus and drop it into your main grounding cord. And we're going to add a few things to this grounding. You're going to draw a line of energy, like another little baby grounding cord, from your right ovary into that uterine grounding. And you're going to draw a line of energy from your left ovary into that grounding. You know, if you've had your ovaries removed, I would go ahead and still put a tube right where the ovary would be and ground that space, because a lot of the pictures and energy may still be there. Now on the back side, you're going to draw a line of energy from the top of your sciatic nerve on the right side. It's right around your butt dimple. And you're going to ground that into the back side of your uterine grounding. And then draw a grounding cord from your left sciatic nerve, going right into that uterine grounding. And take another big breath in and let yourself release the energy from your ovaries and your sciatic nerves down that grounding. Now out in front of you, in front of your abdomen, is where your female creative energy gets generated. And we want to ground that so that it comes down in size to about the size of a basketball. So you can put another tube right out in front of your abdomen, not underneath it, but in front of it, and ground that separately to the center of the planet. And we're just going to take a few minutes here to ground problems out of your female creative energy. That energy looks so good that people will walk by you and think, ooh, I've got a problem that energy looks like it could solve for me. And they will dump their problems into your female creative energy right and left. So just take a moment and postulate you're releasing all the problems from that energy in front of your abdomen. And as you're grounding that, one of the other things I want you to do is to call the edge of your aura in around you so that it's really only about 2 to 3 feet from your body. Think of it as a bubble around your body and tuck the bottom of that bubble into your grounding cord. Great. You are set. We spirits in female bodies are a little more complex. We require an extra grounding. So during this meditation, you can keep all of your female grounding going and be releasing energy and pictures from that space. We're going to take a look at the energy of guilt. And to do this and make it work, I want you to find that place that's called the center of your head and bring your awareness right behind your eyes into the center of your head. And since guilt is an intense energy, we want to be sure that we're sitting in the center of the head where we have our neutrality to look at a broad range of emotions. So there are different ways to control somebody through guilt. And we're going to take a look at 2. The first one is where somebody else puts their opinion in your space or their picture, and it becomes senior to you in your own belief. And there's a judgment in that picture. And whatever that judgment is, it causes you to go into guilt, generally for not being enough. And what we're going to do is take a look at a person so that you can work this. I've broken it down into some steps. So you get to pick somebody in your life that, let's say, is an authority figure. You could pick one or the other of your parents. You could pick a boss. You could pick a teacher. somebody that's in authority, and you can just pick that person. And go ahead, and we're going to use the symbol of a circle, like a clear bubble. So with your eyes closed, out in front of you, you can imagine you have a big white movie screen. Go ahead and create an image of a clear bubble out there on your screen. And what you're going to do is let the energy of somebody that you feel is an authority figure in your life, that you are aware of, that you feel guilty when you're around that person. And the reason I suggested parents is because a lot of times there are many different things that we might feel guilty about between ourselves and a parent, because there are so many different lessons and pictures that get tossed back and forth in a lifetime. So that's an easy one to work on as a parent. And you're going to let the energy of this person go into that bubble, and we're going to put a grounding cord on the bubble and ground it to the center of the planet. So this person makes you feel guilty for some reason. We're going to start to take a look at what that is and clear it. The first thing I want you to do as you look in this clear bubble is to notice where there is judgment energy. And the way that you might see that is a dark color. You might get a sense of it if you don't see it. You might hear the word judgment, and you're going to start grounding that energy out of the bubble. So our first step is to recognize the judgment and be neutral enough to release it. And that's why you need to be in the center of your head. Now, some of you have dropped down into your second chakra, which is in your abdomen, because that's where your emotional information is. But I want you back up in the center of your head. Good. And as you ground this judgment, I'd like you to ask so that you can get some information. What is this person in judgment of you for? See if you can be neutral enough to hear or see what that is by staying in the center of your head. What is it that has disappointed this person? Or where do they feel that you've fallen short? Now, here's one of the keys to getting out of guilt. Learning how to let that person have their picture. Now, maybe that's not a truth. You have to look at this. Is that a truth or not? Most likely it's not a truth, but it doesn't matter insofar as what that person thinks. We have to learn how to let people have their own pictures of us and not try to compete with them. So see if you can let that person have their picture of you, knowing in your own heart that that picture is not a truth for you. And how you would know that is through your communication with Supreme Being. So you might want to take a moment and check in with Supreme Being. And what we're going to do is ask Supreme Being for a forgiveness healing. And the forgiveness healing is for you to forgive this person for judging you, and a forgiveness healing for you to forgive yourself. And all you have to do is ask for this and receive. Take the next few moments and ask Supreme Being for a forgiveness healing. You might even get a communication from Supreme Being. And once you have had your healing, you can thank Supreme Being for that healing. And the next step is to call back your seniority from that person. Now, seniority is an energy vibration, the same as any energy vibration. It has a color, and you can call it back. It's actually your energy. So what you're going to do is create a gold sun above your head and start to call back your seniority and see what color comes back to you. You might even be able to get a little information as to what that was that you gave your seniority up for. And then you want to make sure that you give that person their energy back. So let's create either a bubble or the symbol of a rose and allow their energy to leave your body, leave your aura, and go into that symbol, whichever one you picked. So what you're doing is taking the judgment out of you. And we're going to neutrally return that energy to who it belongs to. So very neutrally, Just tell that rose or that bubble to go back to who it belongs. And you are returning their energy to them in the same form that they sent it to you in. You can let people have their pictures of you, but you don't have to let them keep them in your space. And you don't have to give up your seniority to them. You can be senior to somebody else's picture of you, even if it's hurtful, even if it is demanding. All right, that was good. We're going to do one other space now. And this is just kind of a general clean out. We're going to take a look at a symbol for that you can never do enough. So the energy of never enough. Go ahead and create a rose or a bubble and allow the energy of never enough to go in it. One of the ways that I see healers programmed so heavily, as I was saying earlier, is by invalidating them and telling them they're not doing enough, not giving enough, not cleaning enough, not baking enough, not loving enough. Whatever it is, it's not enough. And that's a way to keep you giving. So we're going to just put a rose out for this energy and start to ground it so that you can start to see who's in there and to clean it out. Go ahead and ground that rose for never enough energy. And as you do that, you might hear energies coming out or statements about you. And go ahead and ground that out. And I want you to say hello to the guilt in the rose for never feeling like you're doing enough. You want to say hello to that and look for the color of guilt and start to release that from the rose. This guilt vibration might be thick, it might be gooey, it might be dark, it might be light colored, but take your time and really clean this out. Good. What we're going to do now is start to fill this space in, and you can start to fill it in with the vibration of enough. And also, I would put in the gold sun, I'm doing a great job. Whatever it is you're doing a great job. Based on the data that you have and your circumstances, you are doing a great job. So go ahead and fill that sun in with enough and a great job. Now, one thing that I notice is some of you hit some anger as you are cleaning these spaces out. So say hello to that. That's the energy in your body that is trying to tell you that you've been invaded. And you can be invaded by a picture, somebody's picture that has a lot of charge on it. Your body can get very angry if that picture is a lie. So take a moment and ground any anger that you might be experiencing in your body. It can be hard to look at a control game that you've been involved in to start to recognize people who are controlling you through guilt. And ground that anger out. Fill yourself in with a big sun. And when you fill yourself in, I know we filled that space in that you're working, but I also want you to fill yourself in with a big gold sun that says you're doing a great job, but phrase it, I'm doing a great job. And bring that great big gold sun all the way through your body, from your head to your baby toe. Let the excess run down your grounding cord, and let that sun fill up your aura from edge to edge. And when you're all filled up, you can open your eyes and come on out of trance. Good job. That's a big topic to cover in 30 minutes. So I tried to give you a couple of steps that you could repeat to clean that out again. And I'll be posting this in the next couple of days. I'll probably be able to get it up tomorrow. So you can rewatch it and work other spaces if other people came to mind or other spaces came to mind. So I just wanted to tell you what's coming up, because this week I'm going to be the hardest working gal in the biz here, because we have 3 events coming up this week. Tonight's event, and then Wednesday night I'm going to be doing my women's intuition class, and it's on courage. And we're going to be looking at courage in our ability to express ourselves, and vocally as well as energetically and activity-wise, and really clean that space out and find our courage and run it through those spaces. So I invite you to that. And then Friday night, I'm doing a Seek and You Will Find. For those of you that have never joined me on that, what that is where I get questions asked, and I answer in the form of a healing. So everybody on the call gets a healing. Now, that is part of my soul support monthly membership. And so I have that coming up this week. And next week and the following week are the healings that I do. Next week, the healing is going to be the parent, adult, child triangle. And this is something that Louis Bostwick taught at the Berkeley Psychic Institute back when I was at the Berkeley Psychic Institute. And it's a really great way to look very easily at your information on three major parts of you. Your information on being an adult, your information on being a child, and your information on parenting. Whether you have been a parent or not this lifetime, you have amassed a lot of information from your past lives on each of those 3 points. Well, what happens is that energy gets on those points and clogs them up, and you can find yourself stuck in one or the other of those points. So that healing that I'm going to be doing for you is to clean out those points and clear the communication from point to point so that it's easier for you to slide from being a parent to a child and move from that child space back into being an adult. So I'm going to be doing that healing in the sanctuary. And I wanted to invite any of you that are not a soul support member, if you are interested in seeing what it's like to get a group healing in the sanctuary, I want to invite you to email me or text me at my phone number 702-245-2099 and ask me, and I will include you in so that you can see how those healings actually can impact you. Even though it's a group healing, they're very powerful healings. And this is a really cool one coming up. So anybody that's not a soul support member, please go ahead and ask me, and I would love to have you in there. The soul support membership is just $27 a month, and you always get 2 healings, not 1, but 2 healings. And usually I do a seek and you will find the question answer class, and then you get a discount on other classes that I teach. Rather than the $50 charge for the class, it's $30. So there are a lot of benefits to being in the membership. And I tried to price it extremely reasonably so that you could come and get those couple of healings every month. All right, I think I've covered everything. Let me see if there's any other. Oh, I forgot another class I'm going to be teaching. I am going to be busy. Okay, there's another class this month called Having It All. And I always love teaching classes on creating. That is my most favorite topic. So we're going to review mock-ups and the creative process. And I think it's healthy to do that every now and then, just bone up on your creative abilities and clean those spaces out. So that's what that class is going to be all about. And I'm really looking forward to that one too. So we also have an integrity healing in the sanctuary for those of you that are members, and that'll be on Monday night, the 24th. So I look forward to seeing all of you again, hopefully in Women's Intuition on Courage this Wednesday night, and also on Friday night. So I look forward to that. Thank you for joining me tonight. I really enjoyed this meditation with you. Have a wonderful evening. Got my eyes on you. Good night.